So if I say, bring a chapter like this, and you bring exactly like the Quran, and you just added one letter at the beginning, and say, yeah, I've done it, oh, I've done it, it sounds like the Quran, I've done it. You will say, get lost, you fool. Okay? This is not, wait, this is not even a parody. This is not even a parody. Where does he say that? Give me some source works that you have heard about this. I don't want you to tell me, but he's my professor. I accept whatever he says, whatever he doesn't say, just because he is someone who goes against Muslims in whatever reason. Now, works. No, tell me about Shadi Nasser's method, his statement, solutions on this matter.
Focusing on one was way too much.
You cited him.
Yeah, but I'd rather talk about the argument rather than one individual.
Don't be silly. You cited him contesting what this brother said.
Okay.
You contested him saying, no, there are non-Muslims who disagree with that.
But
so now,
true.
Okay, so you named this individual, didn't you?
But I'm not trying to make an argument out of it.
No, tell me now, what is the argument of this professor?
I'm not trying to make an argument out of
individual. You contested using this sort of authority.
Okay.
No, you're sure.
If he didn't know as much about this particular individual, you'd count that as a score. You'd say, yep, I've got somebody who contests that. But now he's challenging
and then hopefully we move on.
No, we're not moving on. Yeah. You've just thrown a stone in the dark thinking, yep, maybe he said something like that. Now, tell me now, what does he say? Tell me which source work, whether he's published books, articles on YouTube videos.
You have to check with him.
You are the ones who made the claim. Why am I going to check with him?
And I may have watched his interview like 9 months ago, so I can't quote him.
Tell me what you recollect. Where did you watch the interview?
Where?
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Which channel? On DawahWise? We haven't invited him on DawahWise yet. So which channel did you invite him?
No, it was, I believe it's called Myth Vision.
Myth Vision podcast.
I believe so.
Yeah, good. I've watched many of that podcast of him anyway.
Okay,
so which one you're referring to and where did he say that?
Again, this is a long time ago. I can't give you the name.
9 months, not 9 years ago, my friend. 9 months.
You're right, but I have other things to memorize than.
So next time, here is an advice to me, first of all, and to you.
Okay.
If you are going to contest using an evidence that you cannot
But again, I'm not sure talking about the argument rather than an individual.
You use an individual for an argument.
Right. But let's talk about the argument.
Why did you cite him?
Just because
Why did you cite him?
Because you were talking about Orientalists.
Yeah, and you cited him. Okay. So let's go back to the argument. What is the argument about the Quran's inimitability? Let's see how much you understand first of all.
That the Quran cannot be copied, cannot be imitated.
Why?
Because it's of a unique literary form.
And what form is that?
Well, it's unique. It's the Quran's form.
Yeah. Tell me about the uniqueness.
You tell me. Why do
You're the one contesting it.
Of course.
Okay. Do you consider the Quran is inimitable in its linguistic structure?
I don't know what exactly it is to say that a work is inimitable.
Okay, so you don't know anything about the methods.
The Quran never explains that, nor, am I correct if I'm wrong, nor does in all of your hadith, nor does Muhammad ever bring it
Okay,
down.
let me tell you about.
Is there a hadith on it?
Let me tell you about the methodology you're using to understand something. If I told you, bring an umbrella like it, that's what I said. And then you go to all the people here, you never actually stated, what do you mean by bringing it like it? And then you say, look, there you go. That's an umbrella, like this one. The people who have sound judgment, they will say, even though Mansur hasn't explained how to bring an umbrella like this, but this is not like the umbrella. Now wait. Would you mind telling me why this is not like the umbrella?
So what you're saying is that it's entirely subjective.
No.
Yeah, you just said,
I'm going to ask you now, one moment.
On the basis of people's sound judgment.
No, I'm going to ask you, listen, I'm going to establish something. I am going to use this to see how much you even understand the very nature of the challenge. So now somebody brings along, here is the challenge met. I have brought an umbrella like this one. Do you agree it's a match?
I would agree that's not an umbrella.
No, is it a match?
No.
Why not?
That's not an umbrella.
Why not?
It doesn't do anything like an umbrella does.
What do you mean? What is an umbrella? Like, this is an umbrella, so it does something.
That's an umbrella.
Okay, so it doesn't do what the umbrella does.
Yes.
What else? How is it not even a match? So it doesn't do what it does, and
Yeah.
is it like this?
No, it's not an umbrella.
And then what? And that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so did I tell you what the characteristics of the umbrella is to bring an umbrella like it?
No,
You actually disproved.
you'd be
One
at
moment.
fault- You'd be at fault to do
Excuse
that.
me, excuse me.
You'd be at fault to do that.
You did not have to consult me to tell me that this is not a match like that. Did you?
You're going completely wrong.
One second. One second. So when you bring something like this, you didn't even have to ask me about it. You yourself were the judge to say this is not like the umbrella. Okay? Now, if I were to ask 10 other people, they'll give me 10 other reasons.
Right.
Exactly why this is not a match. Look at the length.
Okay. But
Wait. No. Let me finish.
Let's say I did
I'm not
bring an
finished.
umbrella.
I'm not finished.
You'd be at
I
fault
am not
because you never
finished.
explained what
Okay,
you
can I
meant
borrow
by
this,
like
brother?
this. That's my point.
There you go.
You missed it.
There you go. Is this a match?
Yes.
Okay. How is that exactly like that?
Does the Quran say exactly that?
It says
You just-
like it.
Yeah.
Like
So
it.
you added an exactly. But yes,
The Quran says like
they
it.
are of the same. They are of the
Now,
same.
how are they?
They are of the same quality because they're both an umbrella.
Now, how is this like this?
They're both an umbrella.
Okay. Let me tell you how it's unlike.
They can
Unlike.
both used in the same way.
Let me tell you how it's
Same way.
unlike.
Unlike. No. They're both umbrellas.
No.
Yes.
How is
Yes.
this like this?
Yes, they definitely are.
Bring an umbrella like it, like
Yes.
this one.
Yes. And if you don't
And you bring-
explain yourself, you're at fault. Which is my point the whole time.
What's your name?
My name is relevant. Let's not bring up my name.
Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good one.
If I told you bring an umbrella like this one,
Yes.
and you bring this one, now people of sound judgment and mind will say, this is not like this umbrella. Okay, anyone else agrees with him?
You would say that.
Brother,
You would
brother,
say that.
brother, let me ask you.
Never explained what you mean by like this.
I'll tell you. Is there anyone else who thinks this is like this umbrella?
Yes, of course they are. They're both umbrellas.
No, I said, does anyone here agree this is like this one?
Yes, they're both umbrellas.
Apart from you, my friend. You're the only one. Seems to be what gone out.
Well, look, I
Why is that?
I have a feeling no one here is going to agree with me anyway.
Why is that? Can tell me.
Pull anybody you want.
Go on, get someone from the street.
Go and get anybody.
Go
you
anyone. Get anyone.
I'm not going to bother.
No, get
There's a
anyone.
white woman behind you. Ask her.
Should you
someone.
explain what you mean by like this?
I agree with him. Depends what you like.
Okay, so this is like this umbrella. I haven't, look, if I haven't explained to you, and I said,
explain.
bring me, okay, but, not like this. Your girlfriend, no, that's haram. Your wife, your lovely wife tells you, buy me an umbrella like this one. And you buy this one. Would your wife be happy?
If she doesn't explain what that means, that's an
You'll be
issue.
sleeping in the couch.
She should explain what
One
she means
second,
by
one
like
second,
this.
one
That's
second,
my point.
1 second. So now,
we're really not
your
getting a good
wife
point.
considers you quite intelligent, and she says, go and buy me an umbrella
You can see the
like
umbrella,
this
though.
one, and you buy her this. Do you think she'd be happy?
She's in the wrong there.
Excuse
because
me.
She's not explaining
Do you think
what
she'd be
mean
happy?
by like this.
You can see
Obviously.
that umbrella. You can see it.
Okay, good,
What do you mean by like?
brother.
You're not-
You can see it.
Sorry, you're
So,
not explaining
good.
at all
So
what
now-
I'm saying.
The
You're
same
really
size.
not.
Let
You're really
me.
not.
Be honest, would you tell your wife you got that wrong?
No. If she said,
What's that? Be honest,
if
would
she
you
said,
say
if
that
she
to
said
her?
it's not like
So you bring this umbrella, and
You
then
went home with that one. Would you honestly
She
tell
holds
her
it up in
that
front
you
of
didn't
you.
specify exactly what you meant by
No,
lie?
but she didn't say anything.
No,
She
but
didn't
would you
explain-
say that to her?
Yes, 'cause
let me
she-
speak to the other brother. Excuse me.
Before you hear, he
No. Just ignore him. We're going to speak to this gentleman here. So now,
Speak to him. I'm not.
no. So you, in your suggestion from your wife, when she says, buy me an umbrella like this, and you buy her this, and when she
You can see
is
it.
not happy with you, you're going to say, but you didn't specify, is that what you're going to say?
You didn't say what like is. Yeah.
So when she said, buy me like this one, and he bought her this one, and you're going to start quarreling with her, arguing with her.
Well, I mean, it depends what you mean by like. I can buy exactly the same.
She
size and everything,
just
and it might
said-
not be like that.
She just said,
Umbrella. Who's under that umbrella?
she just said, buy me like this one.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Does
umbrella?
that mean the same
Okay.
brand? Does that mean the same size?
Fine. So when she sees, when she asks you, brother, let's have one discussion.
Hold on.
When your wife
Misunderstanding of
asks you, are you going to ask more questions?
Yeah, like what kind of
Are you going to ask more questions?
would you like it frothy?
One moment. So let's hear this. So your wife says,
Can you get me a coffee?
excuse me, buy me an umbrella like this
Get him
one.
in.
Now,
Well, what do you want? Black or white?
and he brings an umbrella like this one. Do you think this is a match?
Beggars can't be choosers. White or black?
Right.
White.
There.
So be happy with what you got.
Sugar? Sir, do you like sugar?
Would that be a match?
But the guy.
Like sugar.
It's not going to be a match.
I'm a diabetic, so
But would that going to be a match though? Is it? Okay. So let me,
the word like
brother.
bring something like it.
So
Like it.
Similar enough.
let's start again. Let's start
Like
again.
it means. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
right, madam. So if you told your husband,
Sorry, this was my fault.
can you buy me an umbrella like this one? And he brings you an umbrella like this one. Would you say this is a match?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you
As in,
mean?
Why would she not consider this as a match?
If my wife said buy something like that, and I bought a different brand,
you can
and a
see
slightly
it.
different size,
You can see
No,
it.
you brought this one.
You can see it.
You brought this one.
So how exact?
So now-
how exact does it have to be like
Okay.
that? How exact?
So now the point. Thank you.
95% exact.
The point is made when you want to bring something like
You have to define
something.
What it means to be like it.
You need to know how.
You look like him.
Brother.
You look like
Define
him.
what like it
it's
means.
okay, it's
Otherwise,
okay.
like it could mean anything. Like could mean 90%
You
like it.
you need to have.
80% like it. What do you mean?
Brother, what's happening is, instead of engaging with me, he's going to try to engage with everyone else. So that's why when a Muslim speaker speaks, let the Muslim speakers handle that situation and enjoy the conversation. There'll be a lot of learning from it. So when somebody like your wife says, buy me an umbrella like this, you need to have an understanding, what does this one look like or is like? Okay, you say, okay, this is like an umbrella, which is like a man's umbrella, which is quite lengthy. Okay, and it's an umbrella. It's not a washing machine, is it? It's an umbrella. So you would have basic understanding of what it is, how it looks like, and so on. So if somebody brings this as an umbrella, you'll be saying, are you out of your mind? So likewise, when the Quran, now I'm explaining to you objectively, when the Quran tells anyone to bring, if they doubt that the Quran is not from Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, it tells them that bring something like it. And how is the Quran like? The Quran throughout its chapters and verses explains the nature. It is constructed in such a way. It is not like, let me tell you now how first it's not like. So the Quran is a language book, a linguistic book, a literary book, okay? So it's written in human language called Arabic, but it's actually revealed from God using that very language. So, how is the construction within it? Arabs, irrelevant, that's what you say your name was.
Yep.
Because I asked your name, is it irrelevant?
Yeah, that's it.
Good. The Quran, during the time of revelation, it was already known to the people in terms of their linguistic, literary works and how they fit in. So there are poetries, there are prose, there are sayings of the soothsayers. Now, there's also the statements of the companions, the believing Muslims, and the statements of the Prophet ﷺ, his hadith, for example. Is the Quran in any way in the linguistic construct like their statements in prose or poetry or the sayings of the soothsayers or even the statements of the companions and the Prophet ﷺ? The answer is undoubtedly no. And how do we know it's not like this? Because we know when the Quran uses terminologies, how it constructs a sentence, whether it's a verbal sentence, starting with a verb, nominal sentence starting with a noun, or sentences that with prepositions or oaths or customs and so on, it doesn't conform with any known linguistic convention of. Let me finish.
Quite a few minutes.
No, I'm giving you the objective nature of the inimitability challenge. If you don't listen, you'll never learn. You'll never learn. So the Quran goes against the linguistic convention of all known literary forms in the Arabic language at that time.
Okay.
Wait. When I say goes against the convention, it means there is a convention of how poetry is composed. They have rhymes and meters. I'm sure you know what a rhyme and a meter is in a poetry. Good. Like Shakespeare and his sonnets, how they're constructed. Likewise, Arabic language, in its literary poetic form, had what we call bihars, seas. Like, for example, Al-Khafif is a form of poetry in its rhymes and meter. Al-Madid, Al-Basir. There are 16 of them. The Quran falls in none of them 16 meters of Arabic poetry. None of them. The Quran, this is how the Quran is unlike the literary form. So how is it like then? So you look at the Quran and you see in every single chapter of the Quran, there are linguistic novelties. And I will explain what I mean by novelties.
Can I jump in just a small point? A small point?
Okay.
Okay.
Linguistic novelties is where I stopped. So I'll carry on from there.
Yeah, no problem. I'll be quick. So the Quran says bring a recitation like it. And then it also says bring a chapter like it. It also says bring a statement like it. So I'm asking you, does the miracle go down to every ayah, every verse?
Okay. So you're talking about how much of the Quran should be imitated. So bear this in mind. That's the question you asked. Let me continue.
Is every verse a miracle?
I understood your question.
Fantastic.
So linguistic novelties. So I was saying every single chapter of the Quran has more linguistic novelties than the number of words within that particular chapter. If the chapter is 20 words in total, the linguistic novelties that is introduced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala far exceeds that number 20. If there are, say, 500 words in a chapter, the number of linguistic novelties in the chapter is how much? Less than 500, more than 500? According to what I've just said. More. That is the unique feature of the Quranic literary composition. So the Quran says, bring a book like it. Bring 10 chapters like it. Bring a chapter like it. So the minimum one has to do is bring a thematic unity, a chapter, a surah like unto the
It
Quran.
also says bring a statement like it, which is, I'm assuming, less than a chapter.
Okay, where?
No, it says
Where?
statements there.
Go on.
I'll do it on my phone. It's easy.
Okay, do it on your phone. Do it on your
No
phone.
problem. You think I made that up?
No, do it on your phone.
Okay, no problem.
Can I ask as well if maybe like the linguistic unique
Now,
nature of it?
you talked about some of the scholars of Harvard University, which you used to contest what my brother earlier said, and you could not substantiate it. You may be also aware of other scholars. Tell me, which other scholar has come across the Quran and yet failed to know that the Quran makes a challenge? Every scholar on planet Earth who studies Quranic, Arabic, Quran as a literature, knows the challenge of the Quran. Now tell me, who do they cite they have successfully imitated from now or from before? 1400 years of Islamic history that they have imitated the Quran successfully. Name me one, and then we can go through. Name me one scholar that says, here is the chapter, the Quran.
Many Christians, Arabs.
So 5234.
What does it say?
Statement.
What does it say?
Statement. I didn't make that up.
No, what does it say?
Let them produce something. There's different English translations, but the literal Arabic says they're a statement.
Let me look.
Yeah. It says hadith, I believe, in the Arabic.
Yeah. Hadith.
So bring a statement like it.
Yeah.
It is how the Quran.com says it. So I wasn't wrong. So,
wait, let me
this is
finish.
chapter,
Let me
and then
finish.
Statement below it is every statement a miracle.
Let me finish.
Okay.
When it says فَأْتُ بِحَدِيثٍ مِثْلِ.
wrong, but
Hang on, hadith.
Yeah.
Hadith doesn't necessarily mean it's only one statement.
That's the Quran.com's literal Arabic.
Okay.
And I checked other
Okay.
translations too.
How many?
And it
How?
says similar things.
All that I've given you is my hadith today to you, my statement. Okay? When I say bring a statement like mine, it doesn't mean just one statement. It could mean everything that I said. So hadith doesn't necessarily mean, it means speech.
But it could.
Speech. So the Quran explains it, bringing a chapter like it, and the chapter contains the hadith. chapter contains the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So
the statement-
the inimitability, inimitability lies in bringing
That's here in Europe.
something like the Quran. So has anyone done that?
Is that like a verse though?
I've just told you.
But can I bring a verse like the Quran? Is that possible by you? It's not possible. So it does go down to verses, not chapters, and it's verses.
Well, depending on it says
This is my point.
It says chapter in the Quran.
It says statement.
Look, let's be fair.
This hadith referring to speech within these
I'm trying
chapters.
to understand, where does the miracle start
why
and
don't- why
stop?
don't-
I just told you, chapter.
Hold on.
No, one second.
The smallest unit is at one chapter.
If a chapter of the Quran is a miracle,
Mr. Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. Look,
if a chapter of the Quran is a
one
miracle,
second.
is 90% of that chapter a
Let's be
miracle?
sensible and let's be fair. Okay.
I think I'm being fair.
Yeah. So when somebody in the 7th century makes such a claim, at the very least, knowing a little bit about, you know that that's quite a remarkable claim to make. If somebody said to you today, "I'm going to write this book in English," and I challenge anyone to come with something like this, better it. You'd say the guy's nuts. Why would you say that? Because you know what's going to happen. Within a few days,
Can this fit?
weeks, people will bring forward literature, people will
Yeah,
gather, and the people will say, "My God, this guy's an idiot." Of course, that's better. This is
so, but
better.
you never know.
No, of course, we know that.
No, because that man who may start to have a following,
We
and that
reasonably,
following may think the book is from
however,
God,
there will
so.
be a massive following on the other side, countering those claims. That's the point.
Yes, correct.
That's the point. So now you have a man in the 7th century who says this is something that you cannot equal, you cannot better, you cannot bring anything like it. And the shortest chapter of the Quran is 3 verses.
Sure.
Now, the point is, what did his enemies say about this challenge? People who never even accepted Islam on their deathbed. What did they say? They said, these are not the words of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are not the words of any spirit, any jinn. This is some sort of sorcery, some sort of magic.
Okay,
they attributed.
that's a different
Hold on a
debate, that's a
second.
different
Just
That's on the
listen.
reliability
Just listen
of
to
the
what I'm
argument.
saying to you first, right? Now, as a reasonable person, you would have to question, well, why would people come up with that as a statement, as a conclusion, rather than saying the man is a liar, such and such has beaten you, he's beaten you, he's beaten you. I'm not fighting jihad. I'm going to die on the battlefield for you because everyone's defeated your claims.
And this is coming from an enemy.
Right, but yet they didn't do that. What did they do? They put down their lives. They accepted that this was a miracle. They accepted that this was outside of the capacity of a human being because of the reason that Brother Mansur said. It was a new way of writing the Arabic language from a man who was known to be illiterate.
I know.
Hold on a second,
Can
right?
we get back to my argument?
And then that book becomes the first book in the Arabic language. That book then becomes the standard by which all Arabic is measured by.
Well aware, yeah.
So when we look at it in those terms, as a reasonable person, you would have to argue. Look, whatever your argument or your discussion here is with Mansur, you'd have to at least look at it a little bit more deeply than coming forward with these very shallow arguments,
I don't know, shallow.
which they are shallow because for 14 centuries, despite there being millions of Christians who speak Arabic fluently,
And Jews.
and linguistically have works out there themselves, yet they've never met this challenge.
But they're also not convinced.
Another additional point.
Those millions of Christian Arabs, they read the Quran,
When
they're
the
not
Quran
convinced.
was challenging, when the Quran was challenging,
They're not convinced by the message, not
exactly.
the
But they
actual...
don't believe it's inimitable,
No,
right?
but look, regardless of what you, no, hold on a second. Some, yes, many do.
That's what it's
However,
just
however, look.
telling us.
Arabs believe
No, but brother,
it's
one second,
from God,
one
isn't
second.
it?
Look.
They can't believe
Even
it's
if they say, even if somebody argues that, oh no, this is just nonsense, the inimitable, oh no, I don't accept it, then what would be the reasonable statement that you would make? Okay, if that is the case, then show me all the works that have managed to meet the challenge.
Can I actually
Now, when you
retract my
exhaust,
argument now?
when you exhaust that question, that statement, and then you realise that, my God, for 14 centuries, the Arab linguists, the Christian, the atheist, the Jew, have not come forward, even within their own circles. Now, just imagine that. Forget what Muslims might say. Even within Jewish circles, even within Christian circles, where are they on their podium saying, "Look, we've met the challenge. And there's 10 million of us now that accept the challenge has been met. They don't do it. Why? Because they know in their heart what they have here is something that is unique.
I don't think they
the
do
challenge
think
can. Well, why do they meet the challenge for 14 centuries then?
I don't think they buy the
Why
challenge.
for
know
14
what they
centuries are they unable to meet the
I know
challenge?
that a Christian Arab wouldn't believe the Quran, obviously.
Hold on.
Why have they not met the challenge for 14
Can I
centuries?
retract my argument?
No, answer that question first.
Because
Answer that question first.
And then we've sort of unfortunately
No,
deviated.
but answer that question first.
No, because I do want to.
I'll be happy for you to go wherever you want to go. But answer that question first. Why are there not large groups of people within the non-Muslim world who have now argued that challenge has been met?
Let him make his
No,
point.
brother.
No, but I do want to go.
I don't want to.
Have they tried?
Is each
Have they tried?
who?
Christians.
Anybody.
Yes, but brother, we got to now. Have they tried?
I don't know if they would even need to.
Have they tried? It's a question of, did it
They
happen?
don't believe in it anyway. Think about it. A
It's
Christian
very
Arab
important.
doesn't believe in the Quran.
Did
Why would
they
try and copy it?
did they try? Did they try? Have they tried it? Have they tried imitating?
Who though? Any
Christians.
Christian? I've got no idea. To be
Right. That's what I'm saying. You are speaking about subject matter you know very little about. Now they
I think
attempted.
there was someone wrote the true criterion. Or something.
No, the true Furqan.
So I do know.
True Furqan.
Yeah.
And I spent more than 1 month every night reading into it to debunk it, only to give up because it was so boring. Let me tell you
Oh,
why.
boring. But that's subjective. Someone might read the Quran.
You're not listening to me, are you? You're not listening to me. Boring in what sense? Let me tell you.
Can I go back to my argument?
No, I am going to tell you why they tried, how they tried, and why they failed. Why? Do you want to know why they failed? Do you want to know why they failed?
Well, look.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Obviously going to believe they failed.
No. It's not about obviously. I will tell you exactly.
You are. You're
So,
with someone neutral, which isn't any of us.
bring anyone neutral. Take my work to them, and anyone neutral in planet Earth. You choose whoever you want to. So what this person did, some people believe it was Anish Shoros who's done it, right? Some people believe it. Doesn't matter who done it. What they have done, so I started looking into it. And guess what? It sounded like the Quran.
There you go. So it's like the Quran.
Hang on. Wait, brothers. Now, guess what?
It was gibberish.
Look, brother, please. This is how he felt? Spirit lifted up. But guess what? Why it sounded like the Quran? Because it was direct plagiarism from the Quran.
So
Wait, I'm not finished yet. Listen. So now your hopes are all slashed on the ground.
What that means, though, was it the Quran?
I'm explaining.
If it was plagiarized, was it the
I am
Quran?
explaining. If you listen,
Okay.
what I'm saying, why did it sound like the Quran? Because,
So it did sound like the Quran.
are you going to let me speak? Thank you. The reason why it sounded like the Quran, because beginning of it, middle of it, or the end of it, or almost all of it, is actually plagiarized from the
It
Quran.
just was the Quran.
If you allow me to finish and have some manners to understand why it's a failure. So if I say, bring a chapter like this, and you bring exactly like the Quran, and you just added one letter at the beginning, and say, yeah, I've done it. Oh, I've done it. It sounds like the Quran, I've done it. You say, get lost, you fool. Okay? This is not, wait, this is not even a parody. This is not even a parody. So what this guy did in True Furqan, as I was going through, after work, every night, about a month or so. So I did about 2/3 of it. It's available anyone wants. I can give you the Word file if necessary. I realized, and then I get fed up saying, how much of the plagiarism is this guy has done? How much of it? It's like it's like hardly anything that's his. The reason why it looks like a Quran because it's like this.
Just copy and paste. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not copy and paste exactly all of it, most of it. And most of the other parts are that what? He changed, for example, if I said anta, he will say anti, for example. If I said ya'malun, he says ta'malun. He just changed the grammatical conversion between he and a she. But it's the same thing. So he left the same conventions. That is not what the Quran is asking. If that is what was a challenge to the Arabs at that time, they would have done it themselves. But guess what? When Musaylama al-Kadhdhab, what did he bring? He didn't just simply say, oh, it talks about فَبِأَيِّ hadith, one hadith. Let me just bring one something like this. Al-Fil, there you go, done it, dusted. The elephant, I have imitated the Quran. Even he has the honor and the sound mind at least to say this is not what the challenge is, just bringing like one ayah or one word or one statement is actually to bring a thematic unity like the. So let me finish. Let me finish. Even I'm just telling you how it's understood. Even the enemies, even someone who declared himself to be a prophet at that time, he understood that it doesn't mean that. He said, "Al-filu mal-fil, wa ma adraka mal-fil, lahu dhanbun wabil, wa khartubun tawil," like this. Well, it sounds like the Quran in some way. Al-Qari'ah, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Al-Qari'ah, mal-Qari'ah, wa ma adraka mal-Qari'ah. He says, Al-fil, mal-fil, wa ma adraka mal-fil. Now, why is everyone laughing? Because they speak Arabic. You know Arabic, what I mean? Yeah? That's why they're laughing. Why? Because that is really something insulting to bring something like it. Oh, elephant. What is an elephant? And what do you call what an elephant is? Something that has a tail and it's got a long tusk. Now, Arabs to compose something like this, to say, to imitate like the Quran, they would commit suicide before even doing that. Okay? So when he did that, people were, how many people joined Musaylima because of this in numbers? Seriously. So this is why when the Quran claimed that this is a revelation from Allah, their best points, the best of them, he says, لَيْسَ هَذَا كَلَامُ الْبَشَرِ. This cannot be the statement of a man, of a human. When someone heard, فَاصْدَعْ بِمَا تُؤْمَرْ, he fainted and he died. We have reports like this because when they heard. So Dr. Bassam Sa'i wrote a book called Al-Mu'jiza, the miracle, the Quran, i'adat, returning of the linguistic miracle of the Quran, 2-volume books. First volume is a methodology in which how to understand the Quranic objective nature of the challenge. The second part of the book, Juz al-Thani, is application. So he applied his method in one large surah of the Quran and about 16 or 17 other chapters, smaller chapters of the Quran, to demonstrate to you how the Quran can be objectively seen in its very nature of the challenge of inimitability. I even sent this link to one of the Orientalist scholar today. I'm still waiting. He replies to everything else for every other queries. Why is he silent on this matter? Why am I going to name him?
Okay.
Why are you going to name him?
Just wondering who it was.
Yeah? Okay, I'll name him. If you're listening, you better come up with something. Marian van Putten.
Oh yeah, I watched him. Yeah.
You watched him? Okay. He is very structured, reasonable individual. I gave him this book. Go on, have a look at this book.
When was that book written?
A few years ago. Okay? It's a contemporary book for the contemporary scholarship to understand the very nature of the challenge.
It gives a criteria.
Exactly,
So-
absolutely.
So
It tells you.
Criterion in the Hadith.
Listen, what you missed the point is when I talked about this umbrella earlier on, bring something like it, the Quran, when this was brought, this brother would know I have to bring an umbrella like.
That's not my point. My point is, if you can cite this book that gives the criteria, right? That you said it was modern.
No, it's given to people like yourself who can't
Right.
even use their common sense to find out where the challenge is.
Clockwork Orange.
The alphabet is an
Sorry?
No,
Do you know
that's
that
the
Clockwork
And yet you're
Orange?
trying to challenge a
There's
linguistic
a book
What
where
about?
this guy puts
Yeah,
loads
yeah,
of
well,
slang
we're
in
speaking
there.
English.
So why don't you just
My
trust what the scholars
Drugies, this,
have
that, and the
known?
other. It
Which
was
scholars?
claimed that,
You just named it.
it's not
Muslim scholars,
comparable
right?
to
No.
Quran, but it's claimed
Challenge.
literary masterpiece
Read a
because of
non-Muslim.
its. And what it did
Only
was that the
Anglican News.
originator
German
used
professor
Russian
from
words,
If you don't even know the
transliterated
basic
into
Arabic letters,
English.
how can
as
you
a
challenge
slang.
Let's listen to this.
He used it as a slang and transliterated it and put it into a Clockwork Orange.
Sure. it's
Now,
okay.
no one else has mimicked that style of using another language.
Have you used
And-
ChatGPT?
You're missing the
Have you used ChatGPT?
Sorry?
Have you used ChatGPT to mimic it?
Yeah, they tried it with
What?
chat.
AI.
I don't know what you're talking about now.
Come back next week trying that.
No,
right.
I'm saying
Wait.
what I'm
But in response,
Arabic
in
and
in
Hebrew,
response,
Arabic
one
and
moment.
Hebrew, they're both Semitic languages, right?
In response to what you said, the Quran has already stated by being it's recited. When the Quran is recited, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, do you know why it is unique? Why no Arabs at that time can bring even that statement like it?
Because they weren't well versed in Hebrew?
No, I don't.
Because it's Arabic. It's Arabic.
But it's a slight blend. They're
No.
very Semitic language.
No. Why would the Arabs even not able to bring a statement like Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen? Now, my Muslim brothers who recite this ayah every single day, at least 17 times a day, they might not even think, how is that a linguistic miracle? Let me tell you. Arabs at that time, they had a particular convention for speaking Arabic language. The word alhamd is constructed by making definitive of this word hamd, meaning praise. Yeah? Alhamd, the praise. The Arabs were not familiar in their linguistic convention to use this word hamd at the beginning of a sentence using the definite article, al-ta'rif. So it divides their convention. Is that the most of it? Let me go to the end of it. Al-Alameen. Al-Alameen today, from the time of the Quran, it meant worlds in plural. But guess what? The Arabs, in their vocabulary, they had one word to describe the world. It's called alam. There is not alameen, there's no many worlds. There's not many, there's only one. So they don't have, even in their vocabulary, a term to describe something other than al-alam. When the Quran defied that linguistic convention and said, no, there's alameen. God is the Lord of all the worlds. This defied their convention. I've given you two conventions.
Can I make a point?
No, you need to listen and learn, my friend.
Okay.
So now, as you realize now, when the Quran constructs its linguistic structure, its genre, it goes against the linguistic norm at that time.
From
So,
Arabic, yes, but perhaps not from the Hebrew
oh, please. The Quran doesn't say, bring a chapter of the Quran in Hebrew. The Quran says, bring. The Quran says,
makes it so unique.
Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan.
In Hebrew,
We have revealed the Quran.
blended with
You're-
7th century Arabic.
You're missing the point.
Can I make a
Allah says He has revealed the Quran in Arabic language. So bring something like it means, in which language do you have to bring? Arabic. Everyone else understands, apart from the ones who don't accept the inimitability title change.
So,
One,
changed Arabic.
do you understand the point now?
It changed Arabic then in the 7th century, did it not?
Excuse me. Do you understand the challenge of the Quran now better?
No, I understand the challenge, but did not the language of the Quran change the Arabic language at that time?
The Quran, yes, remodeled Arabic language. It introduced new concepts, new meaning, new linguistic terms, lots of things, new imagery, lot of things which the Arabs were not familiar with. So we're not saying just bring something new. We are saying, according to this methodology that this professor has given in this book, every chapter of the Quran has more of those linguistic nuances and novelties, exceeding the number of the words within that chapter, within the surah.
let's make a point.
So that is
why
why,
did you just establish- because we haven't
wait,
established the
that is why
novelties yet.
the Arabs found it extremely difficult, if not impossible, to imitate anything
Okay.
of the Quran.
Are the verses
To this day,
units
to this day,
themselves
to this day,
miracles?
to this day, there are Muslims who are liberal-minded, aren't they? They're secular, aren't they? They're humanized. When I say humanized, they are humanist. That's what they claim to be. And they don't believe, some of them, in the Sharia, in the laws of Islam, for example. But yet, if you ask them about the Quranic inimitability, they won't say, oh, you can match the Quran like it.
But they've only got Arabic.
Wait. Please listen. When you have Muslims who even don't believe in the laws within this book, and yet they believe in the inimitability. So why is it that they are acting like hypocrites? Are you saying out of 2 billion people on this earth, all of them are hypocrites? Those of them who are quite literate in the Arabic language and they just believe in it because by faith? Doesn't make any sense.
Can I make my point now or not?
Mr. Irrelevant, you wait.
A lot of
This is Mr. Relevant, so I'm going to speak to Mr. Relevant now.
Quite the monologue you've been doing.
Mr. Relevant, okay, what's your name, my friend? Mark, I am Mansur. Pleased to meet you, Mark. Right. Okay. So,
He's going to get upset.
I might do.
okay, sure. So, have you understood the challenge of the Quran?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, what is the challenge of the Quran?
I'm going to ask a question. Thank you very much.
No.
So
What
have
did
we
you understand?
Have we established that each verse in and of itself as a unit is a miracle?
Excuse me?
Have we? Is it,
Okay.
I know about, you said the Quran in total, you said the chapter. I'm asking about
Okay.
now.
We believe
I want
every
a
word,
specific-
Okay. Let me clarify too.
I want a specific.
Let me clarify.
Every individual verse.
Let me
is a
clarify.
miracle in and of itself.
Let me clarify. So you now, I am clarifying.
Not a long monologue, if you don't.
I am just going to clarify to you. You're coming up with this argument. Look, maybe we can bring a verse like the Quran. We can imitate it, but we cannot bring 3 verses together. I would like to ask you, if you are able to bring 1 verse imitated, what's stopping you from bringing chapter?
It's a good question.
Hang on, look.
I'll answer it.
How many verses are there in there?
Yeah, 3.
3.
Yeah, obviously.
What's stopping scholarship?
That's not answering my question.
Excuse me.
So can anyone else answer the question?
Excuse me,
Doesn't want to-
Mr. Relevant, as that's what you named. You said it was.
Certainly.
What is stopping the world scholarship to add 2 more and imitate
Maybe
the
someone
Quran?
else wants to answer my question.
No.
You don't-
Okay,
you
no.
don't wanna do it.
No. I want to ask you this. Tell me.
So you're not going to answer it.
Why is 1,
Okay, you don't wanna
according to your opinion, imitable and not 3
You
verses?
just make your case rather than
Go ahead.
ask questions.
So you're not going to answer my question.
No, what's-
I'll ask
what-
you if anyone else
make
wants to
your-
answer it.
make
Is
your
each-
case.
Is each verse,
Make your case.
as a unit, each verse a miracle?
We believe every word that comes.
So-
hold on a second.
so each
we believe
verse
that
is a
every
miracle.
we believe every letter that comes from Allah is a miracle.
Okay.
Whether you understand it or you don't understand it. However, the
So we
Quran's
can agree.
but the Quran's challenge is very specific.
No,
It is very specific. It says bring a book like it.
Yep.
Then it says bring 10 chapters like
Yep,
it.
yep.
Then it says if you can't do that, bring 1 chapter
Yep,
like it.
agreed.
Then the Quran says, and with the surety you will not be able to do it.
You missed it out.
Hold on a
You missed
second.
that one. It says
So fear the
statement like
fire.
that, a statement
So
like
fear the fire. Now the point I'm trying to make to you is, and this is where we've got to be reasonable. This is where we have to be reasonable. If somebody was to come to you and they would say to you, look, I'm going to come up with a poem, 3 verses, 3 lines. And this poem will unequal anything that anyone has ever been able to do,
We're doing this whole.
is able to do now, or will ever be able to do in the future. Rightly so, we would say that you're mad, you're crazy. And within days, forget, or maybe even hours, people would present counterworks that would completely defeat that claim, to the extent where you will not have masses following that very tenet that the text itself is a miracle. The problem that you're having here at the moment is that
get
you,
specific on the verse, though,
the
that's the
problem
thing.
that you're
I'm trying to
having,
figure it out.
you see, look, we can deny anything in life regardless of the weight of evidence that is provided. We can nitpick at things.
I'm just trying to
Hold on a
understand it
second.
better.
We can nitpick at things.
As I explained to you.
somehow create some sort of dilemma where we miss the whole picture. The whole picture
We've
is.
done the big picture. I want to do specifics now. That's my point.
So okay,
You've said the whole Quran.
make your
you've said
claim.
a chapter.
Make your
I'm
claim.
talking about
Okay, well, let's say for
verses.
argument's sake, I say yes. Make your claim.
Okay. So do you think any human ever could have come up with any singular verse of the Quran?
No.
Okay.
No.
So there's one verse of the Quran. This is 2 Arabic words. It's Aaron, my brother. So do you think a human being with all the geniuses in the world, all the Arab speakers on it, could ever come up with the 2 words Aaron, brother?
So you've misunderstood the challenge.
Because if someone
No,
could
you
come up with the
misunderstood
2
the challenge.
words, then you've just said.
You know why you misunderstood
Because
the
you said
challenge?
that verse is a miracle.
I'll tell you
You'll
why.
agree.
I'll tell you why you
The words Aaron, brother are miracles.
I'll tell you why you
right?
misunderstood the challenge.
But am I wrong?
I'll tell you
Those 2
why.
words are a
I'll tell you
miracle.
why you misunderstood the challenge.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the challenge is not just specific to the words itself. It's how the words are connected to things before,
my
how the
brother,
words
you're
are connected to
starting
things
to sound like-
afterwards,
you're starting to sound like
and so
God the
and
Builder.
and
Thank you
how
very much.
and
You
how
really are starting
and
to
also
sound like
how it ties into the entirety of the book. So, for example, you have an equal number of odd verses, you have an equal number of even verses. You have in each chapter unique words that only appear in that chapter,
Okay.
and they appear in no other chapter again.
I feel like we're
Right?
veering off my point.
No.
Did you understand?
So
We're
it's a-
veering off my point.
so
Did you understand what he
when
just
you
said?
say when you say meeting the challenge
But they're
of,
not going to say something.
when you say meeting the challenge of a word or just 2 words, you're missing the challenge. the challenge is not just one word or two words.
A verse. I brought a verse though.
It is.
That's not 2 words. That's a verse.
So, for
the
example,
whole verse is those
let's
2
say
words.
you have a formula or mathematics on the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know where you're going.
A huge formula.
What was your reference again?
If I said to you,
You think I'm making up again?
No, I want to show you something.
No.
What was your reference again?
Aaron, my brother Aaron.
No.
I'd have to look it up again.
Look it up again. This verse.
Haruna Akhi.
No, not this one. Not this one.
That's the one I just said.
Not this one.
What then?
Bring a hadith like it, right?
52, 34.
Okay.
Produce, the Arabic, Quran.com says a statement.
Okay.
so it's a statement. You're limiting
Carry on.
the statement to just 2
A
words.
verse. No.
Two words.
Oh, no, not at all. A verse.
Why are you limiting it just to a verse?
Because he's found
It's a
a verse
verse.
with 2 words.
Why are you limiting it to that?
Okay, many reasons.
Okay.
Number one, I can memorize that verse, 2 words.
That's irrelevant. That's
No. My point is,
You're setting an arbitrary limit
my
now.
point is for you, whether it's 2 words in a verse or 50, either way.
Can I come back to this one?
Please.
It's a
Okay.
miracle either way.
Right. Can you provide me the context few verses before? Read.
Well, where?
The same verse that you said bring a...
34, all right.
Yeah. Just start from the
Don't
verse.
steal it. It's
No.
Quran.
You can have
You can have this one.
I've got 2 at home.
have it.
Yeah, then what's the question what stealing comes along? We are even giving it away.
Where do you want me to start?
Start a little bit few verses before to give you the context.
Or do their minds command them to say this, or are they a transgressing people, or do they say, has he made it up?
Slowly.
Rather, they do not believe.
Okay.
Or
So slowly.
let them produce a statement like it if they should be truthful.
Okay, go back a few more verses beforehand.
Back?
Yeah, because context.
I just did go back. Okay, well, I went back to 32.
Beginning of the Quran.
Yeah, I'm not going back 32 verses. And,
So remind, O Prophet, for you are not, by the favor of your Lord, a soothsayer or a madman. Just what I was saying before. So why is the Quran saying the Prophet is not a soothsayer or a madman? Because the way they speak. The Quran is not like that. So let's go back a little bit. Okay. Or do they say a poet for whom we await a misfortune of time? Oh, the context tells you. Do they say he is a soothsayer or a madman? Or now, next verse, is he not a poet? Are you listening?
Yeah, I've heard this.
Okay, the context is what? Is the Prophet ﷺ bringing something like the soothsayer statements, the poet statements, a mad person's statements? Allah is saying, say, wait, for indeed I am with you among the waiters. Or do their minds command them to say this? Or are they a transgressing people? Or do they say, he made it up? Made what up?
His speech.
His speech. Which speech?
Well, we're all talking about the same thing here.
Which speech?
Quran, obviously.
Okay, so if you now say the speech refers to the Quran,
yes.
and the Quran then continues, well done, got it, you got it, my...
The Quran, of course.
No.
That's what he's reciting.
No, my friend. Let me start again. Or do they say,
You start again.
this is verse 33,
Yeah.
the one just before you quoted. Or do they say,
Already. Yeah.
or do they say he made it up? Rather, they do not believe. Made it up. Made what up?
What he's saying.
What did he say?
Whatever he just said before that, for 32.
What did he say?
What are you talking about?
This is not Prophet speaking. This is God speaking. What did he say?
This is Prophet reciting those words.
Uh-huh.
Right, yeah.
So which words was he saying? Because now the cry, and then as he says, okay, then let them produce a hadith, a statement like it. Like what? Like what? So now tell me, if you're gonna bring one ayah, one verse like it, tell me which ayah was it referring to?
Exactly. It's referring to the Quran as a book.
Go on.
No, it's a statement like it.
Oh, like it. Like what? Which statement?
Like his
Quran.
like what he's reciting.
No, like his statement. Which statement? Which statement of Allah is it referring to?
He's talking about those things he's reciting.
No, which one? Then I will tell you, okay, fine, we've identified which one, then bring something like it.
Okay,
Does that make sense? No, you tell me. Because to me, this is Quran.
Exactly.
He's reciting the Quran,
Yeah,
all of
Quran
it.
made of verses that he's.
But
that
which
he's-
one?
You tell me.
It's the entirety of the book is referring
We are saying Quran. So the chapters,
That's the whole point.
the Qurans and its chapters.
A statement.
Yes.
Like that.
Which one?
It doesn't say
Which?
You don't know, do you? You don't know, do
It
you?
doesn't say bring me an entire 114 chapters like what.
Okay,
I'm
listen.
reciting. A statement.
When
like it.
when he was reciting,
You're reading in what you want.
Mr. Irrelevant, that's what you said your name was.
Call me Mister.
No.
Is good.
Irrelevant is good.
Or sir, either one.
No.
You said irrelevant.
I'm not going to ever call you sir.
You're stuck
I can
with
call you
the
maybe.
name that you gave.
How about my servant?
I'm taking the mic.
I'm taking the mic.
Calm down.
Fine. Good. So now the Quran elsewhere said, they say this is asatir al-awwalin. They say, that means when he recited the surahs of the Quran, they said this is asatir al-awwalin. These are the statements, fables of the ancient. That means he's referring to the statements of the Quran. Right.
10 minutes ago.
Good. And this is what we are saying. That's what I'm saying is, it's not just single.
But you're focused on 2 words. I'm focused on no, because it's a verse.
I'm focusing on when the Quran gives.
You're not being genuine.
When the Quran gives. When the Quran. Okay. Okay. When the Quran.
50 words.
Okay.
Bring in 50 words.
So why are you restricted to 2 words then?
But do you have an issue with your Quran? Then?
No, why are you restricting it?
But I'm giving you an example of your book, and you don't.
No, our book tells us in context. It doesn't refer to just one statement. It refers to statements. Speech.
So wait. So one verse isn't speech?
I'm saying one verse is speech, but one verse doesn't necessarily.
So how many
Hadith,
verses? You tell
listen
me.
carefully. Hadith does not necessarily mean one ayah. It can be all of the Quran is a speech. Like for example, when the Quran says, فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَهُ يُؤْمِنُونَ. One moment.
It's all a speech.
Excuse
So
me.
is every verse.
Listen carefully. Listen carefully. In this chapter, when it says فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَهُ يُؤْمِنُونَ, the Quranists use this verse to say, you don't need hadith anymore because what is the hadith? The Quran is the hadith, all of it. Not just that particular ayah, all of the Quran. So your hermeneutics of understanding the linguistics of the challenge of the Quran is really needs updating after all these explanations.
One thing I would like to say here is that
Should we end it here? It's been quite a while.
Just a small statement.
Yeah, go on.
Let's say, for argument's sake, everything we said about the Quran in terms of its linguistic miracle, the inimitability challenge. For argument's sake, let's say we were being truthful and it was honest. You could still apply the sort of argumentation that you're applying as a cop-out. You could do that, couldn't you?
So what do you mean? I don't understand.
I'm saying that even if our claims are valid, from our perspective, of course they are. But let's say, for argument's sake, that what we said to you was truthful. The argumentation that you're applying, the anecdotal arguments that you've just applied, to you could still be relevant. In other words, you'd still deny the miracle, despite it being a miracle, using that form of argumentation. Now, what that should tell you is that even if it was a miracle, if I don't want to believe it, there are ways I can deny it, because I could just say this, I could say these two. I'm going to take these 2 words as the miracle. I'm going to accept it in this way.
Again, it's a bit
I'm going to
tricky,
accept it in that way.
Does it refute
And
the
I'm
whole
going
thing
to still,
if you can bring
and
2
I'm going to
words
still deny
like
the
it?
truth. Now, what I would say to you humbly,
If you
what I
bring,
would say to you, what I would say to you humbly is this.
I'll come back to your point
What
once
I
you
would say
finish.
to you humbly is this.
That's not my question.
Life is very short, brother. Yeah, it was only like a few days ago in our memory when we were just playing football, no care in the world. Now at home, now often, especially at 55, you sit on you lie on your pillow and you think about your mortality. You think about, how many days have I got left here?
When is it going to happen? Come on.
When is it going to happen? How is it going to happen?
Hopefully not soon.
Now, if what we're telling you, what we're telling you, there is an eternal reality beyond death.
Sure.
And even if you don't believe in a creator, there still is an eternal reality of nothingness.
Yeah.
Right? The scope of that is so colossal that I would hope that you say, what, all right, fine, we had a little bit of a banter, we had a bit of a tussle, but if what these guys told me is actually true, if the inimitability challenge is really as robust as they've said it is, should I not, at least in my own time, do my own investigation and go wherever the evidence takes me? Or should I just say, actually, it's rubbish, because it's like that. It's like this, even though I don't speak Arabic, I don't understand Arabic linguistics,
that's my point.
I don't understand Arabic grammar.
Arabs, so no.
But then what would you do if you wanted to look into neurobiology, neuropsychology, or you wanted to look into biology, cutting edge research? What would you do? You wouldn't suddenly say, I've got to go to university and get a PhD. What you would do, reasonably speaking, is you'd say, okay,
Refer to the
let me
experts.
refer to the experts on both sides. who are arguing for and arguing against.
Yeah.
And then I will weigh
I
up.
think I have.
I will weigh up the evidence, and I will go wherever the evidence takes me.
I believe I have done that.
You know, well.
I think I've heard both sides.
To be
on this
perfectly
argument.
honest, if you had done it, I think you would have
These-
been able to
these
come up
people,
with
to say
stronger
Giga,
arguments if they existed.
I think my argument
Goldseeger,
was-
Jeffrey.
But if
About
despite
what?
investigating,
So they're talking about how
That's
there's a
all
sort
you
of
have.
What's the word?
then I would
Rabbinical
hope that you would go back and start
influence in the
investigating
Arabic.
again.
So there's words
Well,
in the
likewise.
Arabic.
I'll come back to you on this one.
Well,
once this.
Technical meaning unknown
Look,
to Arabic.
look, the thing
You
is
know what I
this,
mean?
as I said to you, as reasonable people,
I'll explain to you a bit
Somebody
more in
comes
terms
to
of
you with
how they
speech.
misunderstand the whole point of the Quran.
and they say this is a miracle,
In terms of
this is something
etymological
outside the capacity
words
of human beings,
and meanings.
you would
Yeah, so it talks
reasonably
about technical
expect
terms.
So because it's
you would
picking up two
reasonably
different
expect
conversation, but I will come to
people
you. Yeah?
come up with counter evidence, not just denial, but counter evidence to the claims that you're making, because now they're in black and white, they're in writing, and you would have not just a handful of people. I would say to demolish or to destroy Islam, this would be the easiest thing to do for the critic. Is that, you know what? Let's get our best thinkers, our best linguists. At the very least, maybe these Muslims won't accept it, but guess what? The other 5 billion will accept it because the evidence will be so strong. Nobody in their right mind will ever come towards Islam. But what we find is the exact opposite. Despite all this work that they've done, they've tried. You know, one of the other things that a lot of people don't realize, when the Quran talks about a miracle, look at the manner in which it was revealed. You have 114 chapters, revealed over 23 years, no chapter numbers, no verse numbers. The verses are not being revealed in order, neither are the chapters being revealed in order, and the verses are being revealed of different chapters simultaneously, often in relation to what is unfolding in front of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Circumstantial verses.
Makes sense.
Yes? Now, what does Professor Raymond Farin say? Professor Raymond Farin, who was a non-Muslim, who looked at the linguistics of patterns within the Quran, came up with a conclusion. Now you could say that's anecdotal, but he provided evidence. He said, in my view, for a book to be revealed in this way, without chapter numbers and verse numbers, and then to find complex patterns within the speech of parallelism, chiasm, concentrism, and then finding concentric patterns within concentric patterns. To find it in this way, he said it's impossible. And so he converted,
Okay.
and he wrote a book. Now what I'm saying to you is, this is just one piece of the puzzle. There are so many pieces, and when you add all of the facets of evidences that support the Quran, I believe, despite being born in this country, despite not being perhaps very religious when I was young, right? And your religion grows as hopefully the evidence convinces you. And as there are probably many brothers and sisters here, when we have looked into this, I assure you, if it was fake, if it was a con, if it was just defeated easily, none of us here probably would be Muslims. You know why? Because I'm not going to devote my life fasting and praying and having to give in charity and being kind to my neighbor, even if he's a nasty piece of work towards me. And even if my mother's not horrible to me, alhamdulillah, she's not, but I would still have to look after her, still have to look after my parent. I wouldn't take any of those responsibilities on. But the fact is that it's precisely because the evidence is so profound and it's multifaceted that it becomes undeniable. For me, it's objectively provable.
Okay.
It's no longer subjective.
I know
because the
that
arguments,
makes sense.
because the arguments that are provided against it are subjective. The objectivity that the Quran provides and the linguistics that the Quran provides are objective challenges. And if they weren't, today the world would have easily defeated those over the last 14 centuries.
I think I've said probably all I'm going to say, because I'm just going to say the same thing and we're going to go around in circles. That
Okay.
I don't believe that at all. Okay.
You're entitled to your belief,
You're entitled.
but the consequences of
course.
not realizing the truth when the evidence is so obvious, it's all yours too, as well, at the same time.
You know, one
the
of the
consequence
interesting- one of
belongs
the
to you.
interesting things the
That's
angels,
if you're right, but
one of
we'll
the
see about
interesting
that.
things the angels say to the people who are being dragged into the hellfire, they turn to them and they say, "Did you not use your reason? had you applied the very intellect that Allah had provided you with, and you treated it with an open mind and you contemplated, as the Quran said, think about the Quran. Do they not contemplate the Quran? Had it come from anyone other than your Lord, surely within it you would have found many contradictions and errors. It keeps telling you to use your intellect, your reason, and this is exactly what the angels will tell the people who are being dragged into the hellfire. Did you not use your reason? Allah gave you reason not just to get a job, to earn money, to feed your family. Even a small bird in the tree is capable of doing that. It goes and forages, it feeds its young, it reproduces, it manages to stay warm, it builds its own shelter. We're not unique in this. Even an insect is capable of doing this. But what transforms you from an insect or a bird is Allah has given you reason
Intellect.
to apply, and intellect to apply, to look at things. And I can assure you, if there was any other book that was secular, that had evidences of this nature, humanity would have no problem saying, you know what, this masterpiece has never been equaled. But the reason why this thorn hurts them so much when it's the Quran, because they want to deny it, because they know the consequences of accepting it. They realize that where it will take them, and they want to be, as Allah says, they want to be gods to themselves. They're their own gods. They want to decide what they want to do. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to conform. But guess what? There are no atheists on a crashing plane, my friend. Everyone starts reaching up.
Said I'm an atheist.
Everyone starts reaching up at that point, because they realize that there's nothing now that can save them. And all of these silly arguments that people apply, all of that's flushed down the toilet. It's immediate. Lord God, if you're out there, save me. And Allah explains this condition of the human being, that when the ocean, when they're on the boat, when they're in the sea and the waves are crashing over one over, who do they turn to? Allah says they turn to me,
to God, right?
And when I rescue
God of the universe,
when I
God of the
rescue
Lord,
them,
Lord of the universe,
So
and they
Jehovah,
return back to safety,
God
they become open
of
opponents
Moses,
against
God of Jesus,
Yahweh.
God of Abraham,
Yahweh.
God of all the prophets and messengers.
Yahweh, Jehovah, that's your God.
Allah, Elohim, there's different
If
things.
Jesus is Yahweh and Quran is saying God is God of Jesus, so according to your admission, he is God of Yahweh. That's what you're saying.
But you said there's one God. I'm saying
No.
the God of the
What you're
Jewish
bringing now,
scriptures.
the Christian says Jesus is Yahweh, and the Quran says God is God of Jesus. So according to your own admission, God is God of all of the things that you say.
And Jesus had a God.
Abrahamic,
Jesus,
Brahmic.
and Jesus admitted to having a God.
Brahmic. Let's go back to
So we're
Hinduism.
worshipping the God that Jesus worshipped.
Of course, I'm
Okay.
that was
So
what
in
I
the
meant.
Garden
I'm
of
just-
Gethsemane,
I'm just saying. When
in the
you
Garden
said
of
they reached out to
Gethsemane,
one God, I'm saying
in the Garden of
the
Gethsemane,
The
Christian
one who's
God,
the creator
there is no
of
such
the heavens
thing
and
as
the
a
earth.
Christian God or just a Muslim God.
Your God
There
is
is a
different to the
God for
Christian God,
everybody.
you agree, right?
Sorry?
Your God is different to the Christian.
No,
God.
we don't accept that.
But the Christian God's triune.
Well,
you don't believe.
not every Christian believes in a triune God.
The near consensus of Christianity.
Well,
is-
but there are a lot of Christians who don't. And in fact,
Catholic Orthodox Protestant.
and you know what? No, hold on.
Are you trying to defend
but you know what?
Trinitarian belief?
No, not what I said.
Does Trinitarian belief
When
make
you-
sense?
When you, I'm not saying the Trinity.
No, I'm asking you. To you, does Trinitarian Godhead make
When you
sense?
talk about calling out to the one God, I was thinking the God that
God,
we believe in.
God
You don't-
who
you don't
created
calling
the
out to
universe.
them.
Every religion,
God who created the universe.
every religion on earth,
Jehovah, Yahweh,
every religion on earth,
Allah.
every religion
So,
on
right,
earth.
so we have to use the Arabic word. Okay.
Well, what was the word that Jesus used?
Give me an equivalent.
Mostly-
in Aramaic.
Aramaic, like he prayed in Hebrew and he
Aramaic.
read the scriptures in
And
Hebrew.
Aramaic.
No.
Why no? Why no?
Torah's in Hebrew.
In,
Torah's in Hebrew.
in,
And what's
in,
the-
in
what's the
fact,
most
in fact,
common word?
did Christ ever use the word Yahweh even once?
Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have said.
Not would have. Tell me where he said
Hold on,
that.
hold on. Did he believe the Torah?
No, I'm asking you.
No. We'll go
Do
through
you have
this one by
do you
one.
have
Did he
any
believe the Torah?
excuse
Yes,
me,
written in
hold
what
on.
language?
Don't argue from
What's
silence.
The Hebrew word.
Do you have
Okay, Vav,
excuse me,
Yahweh.
Mr.
He would
Irrelevant.
have said Adonai.
Let me help
or
you with this.
Jehovah.
Let me help you with this.
The word is the same.
Have you come across a Bible called the Red Letter Bible?
Yes.
Do you know why it's called Red Letter?
Of course it is.
Why?
It's the words of Jesus in red.
It's the words of Jesus in red. So we have supposedly
You're missing the point
from
completely.
okay.
I know your point already.
Hear me,
You're missing
hear me
He
out.
believed in the Torah.
Hear
Did he
me
not?
out.
He
Hear me
believed in the
out.
Torah.
According to what we have received of his words,
You're missing the point.
if he believed in a God called Yahweh, he would have talked about it.
You missed the point completely.
Look, if somebody says, my God's name is Yahweh, and he was telling the people,
Gone over your head.
listen carefully, my friend.
I know what you're going to say.
I mean, some people needs to really have a little bit of patience to
More than
understand
a
the point.
red letter.
Listen. If the Christians say, we have a lot of statements of Christ, they are in the red letter Bible.
Yes.
Good. Did Jesus preach about God? Yes. Did he talk about who the God is? Yes. Good. So we should expect to find reasonably who God is in the Bible.
Fantastic.
So we should find, if God to him was Yahweh, we should find the name Yahweh in the red letter Bible according to his. Let me finish.
Did you mention
Let me
the Bible?
finish.
What did Jesus
Let me finish. Let me finish.
It's a miracle like the Quran.
Let me finish, my friend. Try to understand.
do.
Whatever statements is now documented by the New Testament historians, passed on to the believing Christians, and they have made them into documents like gospels and epistles and whatever, right? These documents, they say they reflect the statements of Jesus. So when we look at those statements, do we find Jesus even once mention the name Yahweh?
Fantastic. Can I speak now? Okay. So you mentioned you keep saying Bible. What did Jesus have? The Torah. Written in what language? Hebrew. What's the most common name for God in the scriptures that Jesus had? Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, Yahweh, Jehovah. So every time he prayed in Hebrew, in the synagogue,
wasn't that
in the
word a
temple,
mystery? Wasn't that word something that nobody knew how to say?
Sure.
So how are you able
Jews
to
are
say
somewhere
that?
pronounce it Adonai.
What we're missing is this. He's arguing from silence. He's saying,
from
look,
silence.
one second.
What does the Bible say? What's the most
By
common
the way,
name for God in the Bible?
Ibn Taymiyyah, in his book Refuting the Christians, I forgot the title, he did mention he has the opinion that Jesus did speak in Hebrew. So
No problem.
but that's not a problem at all.
We're saying, where is the documentary evidence?
Can I just say one thing? Sorry, what Mr. Irrelevant, but can I just say one thing, yeah? Even polytheistic religions even accept that there is a universal notion of one supreme creator.
Oh,
No, exactly.
That's the point I'm making.
But however, the difference between Islam and other polytheistic religions is that they have associated partners with that one supreme creator.
We don't
no
do that.
polytheistic religion believes there's more than one creator.
We don't do that.
So in the Quran,
I'm not a Christian, I'm not studying Christianity.
in the Quran,
But you're misrepresenting them.
I studied religion
no,
at
sorry,
university.
one second.
What did you say? Bachelor's.
Philosophy and religion.
Yeah, sorry, one second. In the
You
Quran,
did very badly with the Quran.
sorry, one second, brother. Sorry.
You know, I didn't mix. I didn't mix
that,
on my
you come up with this?
on my studies. I didn't
After all that, you come up with this.
May I clarify one thing?
I say I'm all right.
Please,
When Brother
please.
Abbas,
Thank God you're not my professor.
when he cited when he cited an example in the Quran, somebody who is stuck in the middle of the ocean, you know, instinctively,
I'm going to get my coat. Excuse me, I'm going to get my coat from there, if you don't mind.
yes.
No, don't leave that, please. Thank you.
But Allah says when they're safe in the land, who do they call upon? Other gods besides Allah. But when it comes to the time of ease, what do polytheistic religions call upon? Christians, they call upon Jesus. Hindus call upon, Vishnu and Yas, etc. Yeah. But when it comes to the time of hardship, they don't call upon Jesus. They don't call upon Vishnu.
Christians.
Yeah, Christians, they don't call upon Jesus.
They call upon Jesus.
No, not in terms of hardship.
Of course they do.
No, they don't.
What? I don't
They
think
don't.
many Christians.
Who do they call upon? The Father.
When you don't believe in the Father either, right? You don't believe that God is the Father.
No, you didn't get the point.
I think what you're doing is you're missing the point.
You're missing the point.
You're saying there's one God.
Your claim that we don't believe in the same God as the Christians.
But don't you agree with that?
We believe in the same God that Jesus spoke about.
He called him the Father. Right?
But what do you mean? What do you mean by father?
But you don't believe he did do that.
Do you
right?
mean biological father?
No.
Then
But
what do
either
you
way, you never call him the Father.
We wouldn't call him the father because of the
Right.
because of
So
the.
you wouldn't take the words of Jesus
hold on.
Right.
Because of the pitfalls that our Christian friends have fallen into. Because this term father, you ask any Christian, two Christians, they have a different theory of what the father means. For us, it's very clear cut. Yes, absolutely. I'll give you the extremes.
Well, there you go.
From Lord just being God, the father of everybody, to being, na'uzubillah, a biological function with Mary giving birth to Jesus. Those are the extreme positions.
I don't think anyone believes that.
Oh, you'll be surprised.
You'll be very surprised.
Oh, you'll
Find
be
me a Christian that
surprised.
says that God
Here,
biologically...
in this
you
block,
will
in
be
this block,
surprised.
in this block,
Oh, you'll be
It's
surprised.
a metaphysical...
No,
son
in this
proceeding
block,
from the Father.
in this block.
There are
biological
priests.
Because he's trying to represent a Trinitarian
Anyway,
belief.
look,
I'm
the
not-
point.
I'm
The
really
point.
not.
The point.
I'm not Christian
Our
or-
point is simple.
Anyway,
The one that
I'll give you
Jesus
the last
in the
word, then I'm
Garden
gonna
of
go. I'm getting really
Gethsemane,
cold.
in the Garden of Gethsemane,
yes,
the one that Jesus threw his knees and his face to the ground and worshipped
sure.
is the same one that we worship. It's the same one that Abraham worshipped. It's the same one that Moses worshipped. Peace be upon all of them. It's the same God. Now, if people then add things to that God, it doesn't change the very nature of the supreme God that all of the prophets spoke about and they all worshipped. They all said there is no image of God, there is no statue of God, there is no likeness of God. You even find that in the Vedas, the oldest, most sacred Hindu scriptures. No likeness, no shape, no statue.
The Torah also refers to him as Father as well.
Yeah, but the Jews don't believe in him as anything other than God Almighty, Supreme Creator of everything. They don't view him
Still
as
says Father and Son.
Yeah, but they don't
They're
view him
sons
as
of God.
they don't view him as some Christians view him as Father, as in the Son, as in the begotten and not made Son of God. They don't regard him like that. So they understand it completely differently.
Even if they did historically,
Absolutely.
for the finality of God's religion,
Exactly.
God has removed even to the iota of this kind of associating someone else with God, saying, oh, he made me my biological or whatever. Okay, so now in the last Sharia of the Creator,
Yes.
He's closed this door, by not even allowing people to call him as Father. Okay, you can call him as Rabb. Rabb,
the Quran curses
the Lord.
Jews and Christians
Yeah.
for doing it.
So is your own.
So which God do you worship, my friend?
I don't worship a God, I don't think.
Do you believe God is the one who created you?
This is a massive whole new discussion. I was going to go.
Yeah, but on this note, on this note, so I want to summarize.
Because it may open your eyes.
So I want to summarize
I never
this.
said I'm an atheist. I'm not an
So
atheist.
do you believe in a creator?
Something like that.
Something like that. Do you mean
I don't
you
like
believe in
using
a
the word.
supreme
I don't like
creator?
using I don't like using those words. I think I'm very open to the idea of there being something above and beyond the physical world.
Conscious?
Possible.
Okay. Because what I would say is that
But this is a whole thing. man. This is a whole,
before you go,
maybe I'll come back and
look,
we'll start.
Before
here,
you go,
but
I would say
you know.
that if matter simply bounced around and rearranged itself and gave rise to consciousness, it seems implausible that something that did not possess a quality could give rise to one.
Sure. No, I've studied the
Right?
arguments.
So you've
God,
studied
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So that would all indicate that there is a necessary existence that has to underpin the existence of everything else.
I wrote something defending the ontological argument.
Right,
very good.
I'm
So
not like,
what's stopping
I'm not
you from
competing against it. Oh no, but
The same kind of question I want to ask before you go. No. We'll let you go now. But out of all the religious ideologies,
Yes.
if we were to pick one,
Yes.
if you were to pick one, who is the most to you is correct and truth, which one would that be?
Well, you want me? If I say anything but Islam, you call me a liar.
No.
You really mean
I want
Islam.
your honest opinion. Just your honest opinion. Out of all these theologies and ideologies and belief systems out there in the world today, hundreds and thousands.
Yes, well, that's the thing. I've
If you were,
studied them all.
whatever you've studied so far, if you were to say, out of this,
That
which
makes
one
more
seems to be
sense.
true, which one would that be from your current understanding?
I can't give you one. I think, well, probably Christianity or Islam.
Good. Christianity or Islam. So next time we talk about why Christianity has deviated from the true religion of God.
Well, you're not going to like me saying this. I think the Quran affirms the Bible anyway. So
The Quran does affirm and rejects the falsehood.
Exactly.
It affirms the truthfulness and rejects the falsehood.
But it
The
never
Quran
says-
itself says so.
It never says that the Torah and Injil are lost, though, does it?
The Quran says, فَنَسِيَ حَظًّا مِمَّا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ. They lost a good part of the message in the Torah as well as the Gospel. The Quran actually says that. It says, فَوَيْلُ الَّذِينَ يَكْتُبُونَ الْكِتَابَ بِأَيْدِيهِم. Woe to those who write the books with their own hands and say,
Doesn't say
this
the
is from
originals
Allah.
are
And you know what's very
It doesn't say the
interesting?
original.
You know
So
what's,
it does say so.
You know what's very
Explicitly and implicitly.
It says the Injil doesn't
You know,
exist
you know
anymore.
what is very interesting?
Sorry, I didn't hear
You know
your
what is
question.
very interesting?
no, we gotta
is
go
that
now.
even the biblical scholars and the Jewish scholars cannot affirm the Bible or the Torah themselves.
Yeah, your book does.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, your book does.
Hold on a second.
Quran
Clearly,
quotes it as a
But it says
muhaiminan.
that- But it's exactly Guardian, right? So,
Guardians which quality control saying this is false, this is true.
the yardstick to
but
measure
it
everything
also,
by.
it also says that the time of the time of the Quran, that the Jews and Christians had the Torah and the Gospel with them.
Yeah,
So
we
what do
don't
they
deny
have?
that.
It doesn't
What do
say,
they-
not in its entirety.
It doesn't say all of it is
Exactly.
true
So
and
where does
correct.
it say that they
The
have-
Quran affirms they had it.
So they have a corrupted version.
Yes.
The Quran.
So the Quran refers to a corrupted version as the Injil.
No,
That's really-
Quran refers to the original revelation that was sent.
But there's multiple-
Quran refers to the original revelation that was sent to them.
And what?
No, but you have a misunderstanding. The Injil is not what the book
Gospels.
The Gospels.
It's not the New Testament.
Because what else does the
Injil
Christians
is not
have
the
in
New
seventh
Testament.
century?
Or the
What do
Gospels.
the Christians have in the 7th
I'll
century?
explain to you. The Injil
It says the Injil, Surah 7:157.
Hold it. The Injil is that is revealed
Given to who?
to the Prophet Jesus, peace be
Of
upon him.
course.
Do we have
The
that?
Torah
Yes.
is that which was revealed to Moses.
Oh, I'm well aware,
And what,
I'm well aware.
what the Quran is telling you
Trust me, I'm well aware.
explicitly,
It's raining as well.
what the Quran is telling
gonna
you,
rain soon.
is going to tell you explicitly, is that there are parts of it that they have lost. It even goes as far as to say that their scribes,
Very quickly.
added
Okay.
to the words of Allah, and they then attributed those words to Allah, and Allah says, woe to them
Right.
for what they write, and woe
their
to
own
them what they
hands and what they
earn.
sell, and
So it's
they
very
sell it for a
explicit.
price, right? Yeah.
And no,
Correct.
it's not controversial, because even the Christian academics today accept.
So in 7:57, when it says they have this book, they find Muhammad described it.
Yeah.
And what do they have?
So they have parts in their book,
But what was the
that,
book?
that speak about.
So is it a corrupted book?
So a book doesn't mean to
So
say.
it's a corrupted book. Why would God call it the Injil
no.
in that verse?
A book,
and in multiple
a book does not
Look,
mean to say
you
a
still
text
missed the point.
in a
The Qur-
binding.
the
But it
the
does- but it says
Injil,
written.
the
That's why
Quran
it's
refers to
written.
is the Injil of Jesus Christ,
So they have it in
right?
the 7th century.
But the Bible also refers to the same Injil, Jesus Christ, preached to people. So the
Let's talk
Bible.
about the verses then.
One second. You'll get it right now. The Bible doesn't have the Injil. The Bible narrates Christ was preaching the Injil.
Yes.
So that Injil is not the Bible.
It's all very
It's
well
what
good,
Jesus
but
Christ preaching.
I know that's what you think, but I'm talking about what the Quran says. So in 7:157, when it says those who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, so this is present day, right? So 7th century, whom they find written in what they have of the Torah and the Gospel, or the Arabic says the Torah and the Gospel with them.
Yeah.
So you tell me, what was in the 7th century that the Christians and Jews had
So they had
as the
some text.
Injil?
They had some
Collection of writings.
So
They had some
right.
writings.
But if you step back and look at history, we know what Christians had.
Not in its entirety.
You don't know
We
what they were in
The
Arabia.
Christians-
You don't.
The Christians had them.
You do not know. You do not know. You do not know. Wait.
What did the Jews
You
have?
yes.
What did the
You
Jews
do
have? They
not
had the
know
Torah.
what they had in
Yeah,
Arabia.
but
You do not know that.
Yeah, they had the Torah.
Sorry, can I ask-
400s
sorry, can I ask
was
you-
when the canon was closed, decided completely, unanimously.
Okay. What did they have in Arabia? Do you have any manuscripts from Arabia?
It's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant.
It's relevant. It's
Because
relevant. I'll
if
tell you
the
what,
Quran is
because
talking
it
about-
doesn't first of all, even if it
Yeah,
does
yeah,
specifically
you
mean
got-
them.
Sorry, brothers.
Bro, please.
No,
Can I just mention
Oh,
one
man,
thing?
I'm
One
too
thing.
addicted to this. We
No,
gotta
sorry,
go.
one second.
It's 10 to 4. It's 10 to 4.
The Torah that the Jews are following today, which texts are they adopting? That's right.
It's the same one as they had in the time of Jesus and the time of
I
Muhammad.
didn't ask you.
exactly the same
No,
one.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you which text are they adopting today? What's the current form? You know what it's called?
Masoretic?
Masoretic text, also called the Aleppo Codex, right? Now, even if you read a basic book like Richard Elliot Friedman, who wrote the Bible, Professor Christine Hayes, yeah, they all mention that the Masoretic text was written in the 10th century. Yeah.
No.
So wait, one second.
I believe you mean the vowel pointing being added.
No, the Masoretic text.
No.
The Aleppo
We
Codex.
have the Torah from before, but from Jesus'
which
time.
version?
From
Which
Jesus'
version?
time. Okay, if you look at different Torahs, they're incredibly similar. Either way, it doesn't help your
It's not
view.
about being
No,
similar
no,
at
no,
all.
no, no.
Which
No,
one are
that
they
doesn't help
following?
your view.
What
Then
I'm
take
saying-
either one.
Samaritan?
Hey,
Samaritan Torah?
The Samaritan.
I want to go for
What
20
you
minutes.
should do, we do obviously live streams as well.
Oh, I'm aware.
You know
See,
Brother's
I've-
channel, Dawahwise.
I've seen
EF Dawah, DawahWise. You're welcome to bring all your evidence that you have, accumulate all your evidences. And we'll get Brother Ijaz, I call him Dr. Ijaz, even though there's going to be Mashallah one.
Ijaz the Trini.
The Trini. We will have this discussion about the scriptures, when they came out, when they were revealed, scholarly opinions, and we can, because it'll be interesting to have the conversation with you, since you actually studied it.
Because now
So
if Christianity and Islam is
we'll give
in
you a
your
card.
plate and you're now swayed that Christianity is actually really gone away from its original message, you'll be left with Islam. So
I doubt it.
Come on, seriously.
you just said so, Islam and Christianity.
I think if Islam is true, and I believe it confirms the previous scriptures of the Bible, and therefore Quran has to be false because the Bible contradicts the Quran. So
But if
either
you
way,
can- but if you
I think they're
You-
probably both false.
you were explained
But
what
look-
does it mean confirmation. Affirms the
I'm
truthfulness,
backing away slowly.
rejects the falsehood.
It's raining. Anyway, good
Very
to,
interesting
good to speak
discussion.
to you.
I
Good
think
to
we
speak
got
to you.
somewhere in the end,
Well,
hopefully.
it wasn't too bad.
Thank you for your friends to allow you to speak for so long.
It's going to rain soon. Can I take the umbrella now? It's raining
Yes,
soon.
there you go.
Barakallah feek.
And then eventually had a bit of a crisis.
Someone. How are you?